I just did a blog post about falling in love in the 70s. Not the 1970s, the 70s of our age. And then, just glancing at the news feed, we have troops invading the state of California. That's what it comes down to. National Guard being deployed against protesters, American protesters in the state of South Carolina. The federal government imposing their military might over the rest of us. And justifying it, of course, that's what they do. But this is unprecedented. That was the name, that was the word used, unprecedented. Yes, this whole situation with Trump is unprecedented. And I'm afraid to speak. I am afraid to speak out. This has never happened in America, or at least not in my lifetime, which is almost a century now. But, it's a scary thing. And I'm white. I'm white as hell. God knows if they check my DNA or whatever, my lineage goes right back to London, I guess. But the point of it is, that doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I'm just fucking lucky, I guess. I guess lucky if the world powers start discriminating against other people who are not white, and I just stay quiet and stay in the background and stay white, but, quiet about it. Nobody's threatening me, but I'm afraid to speak. That's the threat. I'm afraid. Why? Am I overstating it? Yeah, probably. Hopefully I'm overstating it. But when I see stuff like this happening, I just don't know. Now, I had just published that poem, Then They Came For Me or whatever. That's another white guy, white Protestant man in Germany in the 30s when he watched his government take over in a discriminating, hateful way against certain peoples. In his situation, it was the Jews. But boy, if you sided with the Jews, then they'd throw you in the bunch. And that's what we're up against here. I go to this Mexican restaurant and, interact with a very sweet waitress and other nice people working there. And, what if they came in there and said, okay, we're taking them off to jail. Why? Well, they're immigrants and they're illegal. Oh, my God. They're working and they're pleasant. They're wonderful people. They're making our dinner for us. What the hell? What is going on in America that we can justify this kind of behavior and of violence and hateful behavior against other people? And I read another headline where somebody, whether it was a professor or somebody, was fired for saying that. Maybe it was a journalist saying that, Trump is a hater. I don't know exactly what the words were, but anyway, he said it and he's fired. Now does that mean if I say it that they're going to cut off my Social Security? I don't know. I am not a power broker. I'm not a hater. Are you going to be hated because you're not a hater? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm sitting here, in my little bedroom. It's 2:15 a.m. And I'm going to stop talking. Because why talk to yourself if you really, more or less can't talk out loud to the rest of the world? That's the question tonight. So much for that.